Hello, and welcome to Black Dragon Roleplay, where we are not voice actors, we are not gaming gods, we are just a group of friends that have been brought together through the love of story who want to share our tabletop adventure with all of you. A few things before we start our session proper today. We saw a great first week of our streaming our game last week. Thank everyone that who had supported us to reach out, followed our Twitch channel. Our push for affiliate is on for the month of January and February, so please give us a follow if you are so inclined. If you are here, please make sure you're following us. Help us kind of build this to where we want to go with this. If you are not so inclined, just do it anyway. Last week for our announcements, I thank Yumi for her contribution for our lovely artwork. Tonight, I wanted to highlight Ryan, aka Thumper Knox, who for the past probably month or two has been working with me to create these awesome overlays to get all the stream stuff flowing in the right direction. The stream, the YouTube, anything production-wise, he's been handling for us like a pro. I especially thank you because it's allowing me to focus on the game and my prep during the week without production issues and then during the game itself, focus on the GM stuff. So I don't want to. The least amount of screens and tasks that I have, the better the game. So thank you. Shout out to Ryan Thumper Knox on Twitch. Make sure you jump there. Give him a follow. He plays all sorts of indie games and anything with a fantasy or anything with a zombie related. He's playing it, and he does some D&D stuff there too. So go and show him some love.
Shucks, guys.
Thank
you.
All of the Black Dragon RP socials are below in the Twitch channel. Make sure you follow our Discord. Make sure you follow our Twitter. Those will let you know when we go live. We try to go live every Friday evening, 9 o'clock local time for myself, 8 a.m. Eastern time for those in the U.S. or those who base their life off of U.S. times, like some of us digitally inclined do. Make sure you're staying on top of all our streaming schedules and stalking us digitally. And without further ado, I do believe that it's time to start tonight's session. What do you think, players? You guys ready?
Oh yeah.
Ready.
Sure.
Mentally, no.
Let's get to it.
All right, for our recaps from last week. Our intrepid party visited the local marketplace and library to prepare for its trip to Udjat. They were in Silt. They were preparing for their trip for Udjat, and they found Mount Kurat on the far western coast. On a map, we were able to transcribe said map. You have an idea of where they were going. The mage, Grandmaster Weiss, transports the team from Amma to the picturesque black sands of Udjat's western beaches, surrounded by a dense jungle, bordered by the hills and volcanic cliff faces of Mount Kurat. Pressing further in the jungle, Branimir, concerned but with his bulky armored frame, sinking ever deeper into the black sands, and the sheer number of jungle insects that he was facing, feels the earth give away around him and falls into an open volcanic pit filled with snakes. With the combined aid of the entire party and after multiple successful attacks from the poisonous swarms, the party was able to quickly dispatch the snakes and pull Branimir to freedom. The group makes their way to a mountain village shortly before nightfall. One of the first things they notice are the unwelcoming and armed warriors, all marked with the draconic sigil of an M, presumably to signify Multaq, the red dragon whose lair dwells deep within the volcano itself. Finding a place to rest at Hassan's Rest, the adventure party are met by a few cultural differences between Amma and Udjat, including a device known as a hookah, the open shared sleeping quarters, and something known lovingly as a coconut. The only other residents within the inn introduced themselves as an ambassador, the ambassador San Salam and her escorts from Udjat. The team and the ambassador also take note that Kamiel is a very small mark of the sisters on her armor and pledges to help the paladin in her journey in any way possible. Ambassador Salam has been sent by the Ra and the Council of Hika and is here on a fact-finding mission due to the reports that the mine has been sealed with many people within it who are now working as slaves for Multaq and his son Al-Ren. Ambassador Salam welcomes the somewhat lost and ill-prepared paladin and her friends to join her in her appointment with Al-Ren in the next morning. So that's where we ended last game. Last session was at the table with the ambassador, kind of ending the night, wrapping down the night, enjoying their local drinks, enjoying somewhat the company of someone who is there on a mission to be able to help the people of this tiny village. Is there anything that you guys want to do before you kind of go to sleep or try to find rest this night?
Oh no, sorry, Boltzmann, you get first.
Because Boltzmann being very curious about this new cocoa nut, I would want to go to the bartender, or what's the term? To the woman who is running the counter.
The bar maiden.
Bar maiden, yes, that's the term over there. And he would ask if there are any other drinks that whose main ingredient is the coconut.
So you go to Hassan, who is the drow owner of this Hassan's Rest, this kind of 2-story building that's serving as a place that she serves the locals, as well as has some accommodations for travelers, the very few travelers that they do get here. So you do talk to Hassan. Actually, I have a raw coconut, if you would like.
No.
The inside is actually a liquid. You can drink it. I can get you coconut water if you'd like.
Boltzmann's eyes just are wide open with excitement and surprise. Really? Yes, please. How much would that be?
I'll include it in your tab. It's not a problem.
Thank you very much. And Boltzmann nods his head, and he looks back towards the table, looks towards Bran. He points towards the counter. See, she has like raw coconuts. Bran.
Excuse me, ma'am. Where's the cocoa contained within the nut?
I believe that is just the name. I don't believe there is any cocoa. I believe the spelling is different as well, from the cocoa plant from the coconut.
Bran physically slumps in his seat as he is devastated by the news that cocoa is not contained within the nut itself.
Cheer up, Bran. I mean, it still tastes good. It's a whole new experience. Not that.
I'll bring you one as well.
I look towards Bran.
Yeah, Bran kind of like raises 2 thumbs in the air.
Certainly. And she goes back and prepares.
Oh my god. And that's just it for now, since we're still downstairs.
After a moment or two, you guys do, you hear some chopping, you hear some loud hacking, and she brings you a opened coconut, as well as a kind of a makeshift straw, but it's made out of like almost like a paper. It's been treated of some sort with some sort of resin to make it a straw. Yeah, it's like a papyrus, but it's inside the coconut. So you get at the thing, but she also gives you a small knife and tells you that the inside, after you drink, is actually meat of the coconut and is good raw.
So you're telling me that there's protein in this thing?
Protein, I'm not sure, but yes, there is nutrients there.
Boltzmann, this thing has meat.
No, not meat. It's just what it's called, but it's not really meat. Why don't you go ahead and try it first?
Bran kind of looks to Boltzmann as he, I guess, is Bran the one holding the knife? I guess.
You each have your own little paring
okay.
knives.
All right. I guess
Boltzmann
Bran will kind of look to
smiling.
Boltzmann.
Boltzmann smiles back. And he does a gesture to toast the coconuts.
And as they meet, as their eyes meet, I guess Bran will raise his coconut and I was gonna say smash his coconut into let me just rethink that sentence there. He will clink his makeshift coconut drink against Boltzmann's as a sign of a toast.
Good. I was going to make you roll for initiative. If you
No.
And you actually hit
I
the
smash his
coconut.
coconut.
I smash it.
Okay.
I realize you're that upset about your discovery that there's no cocoa in the nut, Ren, but I don't.
It's misleading.
Break it.
And now they tell me there's meat inside.
Just enjoy it, Bran. I am. Boltzmann's just gulping down the liquid.
Actually, there's this thing that we used to do back at home. You can actually put milk in the coconut water if you'd like. That's just me, though.
And what'll it do?
It'll taste better. You like milk, don't you?
That I do. That I do.
By the gods, Bran, why is this thing not... Why is this the first time that we've heard about these things?
Because there's no coconut where you're from. That's why. Gabrielle takes a sip of her own drink. Slowly.
We need to plant these things all over Amma, Boltzmann.
We do need... Oh gods. The things that we could do with these things.
Coconut cannons.
Do they have nuts? Like, do they have something you can plant?
I'm not too sure about that. We can ask the drow, Hassan. Or not,
Or not?
you know.
Oh, well, no. I thought you had to add more to that statement. Bran kind of raises his coconut in the air as if holding... It's like that scene from Tron. I don't know if you've seen the poster for the original Tron where he's holding the disc in here. he's holding the coconut up in the air, and he turns to the barkeep or the bar maiden, and Bran almost shouts across the room, "Is this the seed?"
She gives you a very strange look.
Dante's laughing.
And
Head on the table.
Ambassador sitting at the table kind of gives a very strange look.
This is why we do not do deals with Patreon.
This is what they're like.
Hassan comes back over. Are you asking if that can be planted?
Yes.
Bran furiously nods.
I believe so, yes. That is what is planted and grows into trees. And once they reach a certain height, they start developing the fruit. I'm not a farmer personally, but they are quite plentiful in the jungle that you did come from. If that's the way that you entered town.
Bran will, I guess, thank the bar maiden and quickly turn to Boltzmann with his still preserved coconut. He did not drink from it yet.
Boltzmann is already halfway through eating the meat. The coconut. This is delicious, Bran. You gotta try it. He just continues
No.
great.
We have to preserve it.
Bran kind of points, furiously points at Boltzmann's bag of holding.
Of course, of course.
We gotta take it back.
But wait, the liquid. You
Bran, you can
Yes,
probably
Saoirse.
get more.
This is my coconut. It's special. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
Well, why not get another one that you could then eat? Or maybe Boltzmann is willing to share some of his.
You willing to share
Bolson
your nut, Boltzmann?
Bolson gives Saoirse a look. Share? It's like, what? Sharing? No. This is mine. This is good stuff.
I've
he
heard.
just continues spooning the more meat.
Please, no, please don't. Please rephrase that.
No, rephrase that.
Spooning.
Phrasing.
Spooning.
Whoa.
No spooning meat, please.
English is hard, friends.
Camille, the ambassador leans over. Are your friends normally this enamored with fruit?
Well, back where they're from, there is no such thing as coconuts or mangoes. So this is their first time ever having come across a coconut. You just try to ignore them.
I see.
Probably
Yes.
for the best.
Exactly.
Again, tomorrow when we talk, let me do the talking, please.
Absolutely.
If you can remind them.
Of course. Of course, they would never forget. But if they do, I'll remind them.
Thank you.
Do you think Multaq likes coconuts?
I think. At this point, Camille just doesn't even know what to say. She's just trying to hold back her laughter.
Aren't they in
no,
the jungle? They're in the jungle. She said there were plentiful coconuts.
But it's a dragon.
They're everywhere.
I don't think you can harvest it.
Bran. They're everywhere. He has.
I mean,
people-
think of a dragon, Dante.
Yes,
They're
people.
huge.
People can do it for them. He runs
Maybe
his
he
town.
likes toasted coconut, Bran. And Saoirse, like Camille, is trying not to laugh, but has her hands, her forehead kind of leaning into her hand, not looking at Bran and Boltzmann. And then just kind of mutters under her breath, "You know, I've heard that dragons can inspire greed and whatever's going on with them in people, but I thought it was gold, not coconuts."
They haven't even met him. They haven't even met the dragon. And there's already greed happening.
Oh,
What if we take a wagon?
Alright.
We fill
Alright.
this wagon.
Just empty the liquid, Bran, and just put that coconut inside my bag. We can transport it back to. Yes.
While the Lottie are enjoying your coconuts and your drinks, and Bran, do put milk in that because it is delicious. I will excuse myself from the table if that's all right to you, Ambassador Sansalam.
I apologize. Can you ask that again? The DM was distracted. I apologize.
Oh no, it's okay. She was just excusing herself from the table.
Oh, okay. Yes. I believe we shall do the same.
Of course. I will just cautiously walk around.
Probably best to run.
Camille slow turns to look at Dante.
What? He just points to Bran and Boltzmann. I completely understand.
There has to be a demand for these things back home.
Right.
We could be coconut barons, Boltzmann. Coconut barons.
You're gonna put on weight, Bran. You're gonna eat too many. Your profit margin will go down. It'll never work.
No.
No naysayers here, Dante. No. We can be optimistic about this. This is a brand new thing.
Business opportunity.
One thing I'm not is a farmer.
Guess you're too pretty to be a farmer, Dante.
I don't mind the dirt. I don't mind getting a little dirty. But
You could be the face of the entire operation, Dante. Think about.
We'll give you
Dante's
10%.
coconut.
Dante's just shaking his head. I'm leaving. I'm going to bed. I don't think I'll find
Right.
any fun around here without stirring up any trouble. I'm easily would admit that. I'm going to bed.
Right.
You're missing out on a great opportunity.
And great
You know,
coconuts.
Bran, I'm sure that they have sparrows or something around here that could deliver the coconuts back to Amma.
Do you think they could travel that far? Do you think they migrate?
They're-
Maybe
I
the
do
Patreon
believe they're
swap.
migratory.
What is the weight?
Patreon or the Amon swallow.
Is it an African swallow? I mean,
An
What?
almond swallow.
I'm sorry, I
I'm gonna
had
swallow.
to go there.
What was that? What did you say?
Bren, I think the coconut's going to your head. Give me that.
Is it alcoholic? Yeah, sorry. Does it have
Nope.
alcohol?
No, it's just water. It's just coconut
could you
water.
put alcohol in it?
Boltzmann, you're not supposed to be drinking any alcohol.
When Dante mentions alcohol, maybe
I'm leaving.
we could ferment this thing, the liquid. We could make alcohol out of this.
Oh goodness. All right. Well, Delotti, enjoy your coconuts. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a walk. It has been quite a while since I've been in Udjat, so you enjoy yourselves, but please do behave.
No,
Right?
yeah, of course.
All right.
So Bran, as you and Boltzmann kind of talk about your dream business of now owning a coconut plantation,
Coconut barons.
yes, becoming the coconut barons of Amma and Patrium, you hear a message in your head. Found your way. No surprises from Boltzmann's sleeping companion. Carmela and I have hit it off. We'll take her to village in the morning.
Oh god, that's right, we completely forgot about Camilla.
Oh my god, you're right.
Who?
Is he already who?
Camilla, the
Goblin.
adopted daughter of Cameo.
Yeah, the tongueless goblin.
Right. I know.
Uh-oh.
Well, and speaking of forgotten NPCs, is Addie pawing after Bran's coconut?
Yeah, it
Just
should-
out of
should
curiosity.
be. Should
Don't
be
take
kind of
that out of
taking the
context.
husk, pawing at
Oh
the husk.
god. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Bran will like crack open another coconut and like fill up a nearby wooden bowl with the coconut water.
When you kind of put her down and you kind of goes to the water, smells it, doesn't really appreciate it, goes over to the actual coconut itself, and you can tell that she's getting bigger. She takes her paws and takes her front paw and kind of digs it in. You can see that it digs pretty deep into the coconut, deeper than you were expecting. Puts a pretty good gash into the side of the coconut.
Seems like she wants the meat.
Her claws are getting sharp, Brad. Could injure somebody with that. Not implying that we'd use her in a fight or anything.
What do you mean? She's still tiny.
No, her claws. It dug into the... Never mind. Oh yeah, and out of character. Wait, did you receive a message, Brad?
Yeah, I was actually going to until
Yeah.
we got sidetracked there. Yeah, Bran will respond to that was Weiss, correct?
Yes, that was Weiss that said that.
All right. Yes, Bran will reply to Weiss's sending message with one of his own, stating that no trouble was found with Boltzmann and the entity within his mind. Boltzmann has been staying away from the alcohol and other things that could possibly trigger or muddle his mind. And they...
And it cuts off. You only have 25 words.
Alright, yep. That answers his question anyway.
I found this coconut.
By the way, Coco, cut out.
Oh my.
You have a lengthy discussion with Luis just about the coconut, but it's one-sided. It's completely you just rambling about the coconut for 2 minutes in your head.
Weiss, with your magical abilities, think about what we could produce.
So as you guys are sitting there, Camille, what are you doing?
Camiel is taking a walk outside. Just sightseeing, being very cautious, hands to her back, slowly just walking through, just listening to the sounds of the night, taking everything in, basically, because this is a part of Udjat that she has not been to.
Yeah, and you do get that sensation of home. You even look up at the sky, and it looks not that it's completely different in Amma, but there is a different feel to it. There's a different feel in your, the way the warmth hits you, the way it just feels different than Amma to you. So yeah, you do feel that. We'll get back to you in just 1 second. What's everybody else doing? Dante and Saoirse?
Dante's actually he's literally gone to bed. He's on his floor, patch of floor. He set up his little his blanket, bedroll and everything, and he's actually just propped himself up. Is there light in the I'll scratch that. He'll set up a little candle for himself, like a little bit of wax on the side of one of the cots, and while he's there, he's curled up with his shield in his lap and a book open with like a little stubby pen and ink to the side. And he's writing. Anyone who sees him, he's just sort of writing in his book.
Okay. And you go up there and you do see the escorts have taken. One has taken the bed right next to the ambassador, and then there's an empty bed, and then another bed that's closest to the stairs. Those are taken by the escorts, and then the ambassador's in the far corner. And then you can take any kind of space on kind of the other side of the bed. It is open air. It's big open windows. You look up and you can kind of see like a tarp that's kind of moving around in the breeze. Not pretty much covering you. Little bits of gaps here and there that kind of let some of the moonlight in, and definitely through the windows you can see a lot. Even though there's fabric covering those, it's kind of sheer and doesn't do much to block any of the moonlight and the breeze coming in for sure.
He'll sit there for like half an hour or so doing that, and then he'll probably have a break and go peer out the windows and just sort of sightsee and stuff. Until the others get back and they get to talk about coconuts and he gets to listen to it all night.
Okay, good. Saoirse, are you hanging with the coconuts, or what are you doing?
Yes, yeah, the coconuts who are nuts over their coconuts. Actually, Saoirse, when Camiel would get up to say that she was going to go for a walk, Saoirse would look to her and say, "Do you mind if I join you? I would love to maybe see a little bit more of Udjat, at least this part of Udjat, around town before we leave in the morning."
Oh, absolutely. You're free to join me.
Thank you. She would turn to the others, bid them farewell, and nod to the ambassador. Get up and follow Camiel.
As you guys take your walk, both of you roll a perception check for me.
Okie dokie.
That is okay. So I got an 11, 14 if we're still applying the double proficiency since the rainforest is still technically forest. Do we just because I know we were doing that last week. Since and
I think that was for the journey through the jungle area. We're now kind of
survival and
above the jungle where it's kind of thinner. There's still coconuts. Gosh.
Okay, I'm
palm trees
coconuts
and things,
everywhere.
but it's much more rocky, and it's almost like this cliff face that's on next to the volcano. So it's kind of out of the jungle.
Okay, well, I'm perfectly fine going with the 11.
Okay.
That's totally fine with me. I am just, I'm not. She doesn't have mountains. It's desert and forest are her favorite terrains. So that's totally fine with me.
And Camille got a 14.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys decide to take a stroll from Hussein's Rest. If you go kind of continuing the way that you came in, if you were to continue in that direction, kind of towards the north, you would kind of lead your way out of town and into the jungle, into more of the same road where it's more kind of empty areas and more rocky terrain, that kind of thing. As you walk the other way, kind of south, you would be walking towards town. So which way do you guys want to go?
Camille would go towards town, if that's alright.
Yeah. Saoirse, I think she's, now that they're out of the inn and away from the others talking about their coconuts, she would maybe starting to turn inward, more introspective, and would follow Camille.
Okay. So you guys walk into town. There's a few blocks between, and I say blocks, it's a couple of maybe 3/4 of a mile or so between the two major buildings that kind of outline this town. One being Hassan's Rest to one end, and kind of the barracks on the other side. And in the middle are kind of a few houses, a few different areas where people are living. One kind of group dwelling place, almost like multiple tents are all kind of set up in this one little area. So it's almost like this little this collection of almost like a neighborhood, but far from it, just this campsite of a town. You have the marketplace that you pass through, and it's already late, so there's not a lot of people there. Everything has kind of been closed down, and kind of all of the tarps and different things have kind of already been wrapped up and put away for the evening. There's a few lights that you see going across that are just kind of there, illuminating what's left and kind of lighting the way of the main path that goes up this mountain. You see a few people here and there, but are staying very close to their dwellings. No one is out on the main road. Even in the marketplace, there's very little foot traffic. You do see a lot of in front of the barracks, you do see a group of probably about 6 soldiers that are out in front of the gate that have a fire that is now being now roaring in front of the gate.
Camille is not really looking to see the soldiers or the people. At this juncture, she is trying her best not to have eye contact with anyone. She's just strolling quietly, and actually her gaze is towards the sky, as if she's looking for something. She's looking towards the stars, but you can tell that her eyes are searching for something, but she's rather quiet with Saoirse walking beside her.
Yeah, and Saoirse would be kind of actually looking more toward the ground. Sufficiently, she would have her eyes up sufficiently to be able to see where they're going. When that bonfire and the soldiers come into view, trying not to be no. She would give them a quick look, hopefully unobtrusively, but she's not paying attention to that. Actually, her brows would furrow. A scowl might start to creep across her face. And then she then realizing what she's doing, she would look away, but brows still furrowed, still scowling, hoping not to draw attention.
Yeah, as you kind of go that way, you do make out probably about 6 people. They're all around the bonfire, kind of laughing and talking with each other. As you get closer, you do see again the very similar kind of look on all of them. All of them are males. All of them have this kind of patchwork armor where they don't have full suits of anything or even full chest pieces or anything like that. It's usually pieces that they've put together themselves, and it kind of shows of what they've been able to find or scavenge to be able to make their own armor sets. And they do notice you. You can tell that the laughter kind of dies down a little bit as you guys approach, knowing that you're not heading directly for them, but just continuing down the path. As you get closer to them, the laughing does stop, and they do kind of... you do notice that the laughing stops and kind of changes their demeanor a little bit as you get nearer.
Do we see the that mark for the draconic mark for M on their armor, it's tattooed, tattooed anywhere?
Yeah, the one that you had seen previous was a branded symbol, almost burned into the skin, and the raised almost embossed look, but it's on the skin of this branding.
Gotcha.
And yeah, you do see from this distance, I'd say the one that's closest to you guys, you would see it on his arm, not having armor on, not having anything on his sleeves, just having something on his chest. You do see his arm pretty clearly, and there is that blazoned Draconic M.
Yeah, definitely. Her eyes would have narrowed then if she saw that before kind of turning away. That's what would cause her eyes to narrow and the scowl to form.
So when they do approach you, Camiel does hear the laughter, but the moment it dies out, she doesn't look towards them. Camiel tilts her head towards Saoirse and kind of speaks in a very soft whisper. It's still audible, an audible whisper towards Saoirse. Mm-hmm. It would be best if we just pretend that they're not there. I heard
Trying. That. Yeah. And she chuckling. Yeah, for sure. I'm trying. Saoirse would definitely turn toward Camiel and whisper back. It's maybe once we're out of earshot, I'll say more.
Of course.
I will try to not pay them any mind.
Of course. We don't
Hey.
completely know these people, but we are in their territory, one can say. We can only try to respect them, even though they would not give us the same courtesy.
And you guys continue down the road, and as you directly pass in front of where they're at, there's still a good 30, 40 feet between the main road and where they've set their campfire, another 30 or 40 feet between them and the barracks, the outer wall of the barracks themselves. But you're able to pass without issue.
Okay.
You hear the further that you go, the more you hear the laughter and merriment kind of continue back.
So, now that we're out of earshot, Saoirse, feel free to speak.
Well, something since hearing more from the ambassador has been weighing on my mind.
Speak freely.
Oh, I wasn't entirely... Or... When you asked me about my scars back in Alma,
Mhm.
I only shared part of the story. One
At
of the
this-
reasons I... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Camille will slow her walking and show that she is listening to Saoirse.
You see, I was never one for following orders, hence why, as I said, I was more often than not punished in some way for my disobedience as just a regular soldier. It's one of the reasons why they eventually sent me to the Vanguard. You know, I had the skills, and there was a little more opportunity to do whatever we wanted, within reason. I've never been one to take kindly to others terrorizing or dominating the innocent.
At this, the moment she says such words, Camille's brow lifts a little bit, but she doesn't say anything.
I can't make any promises tomorrow. If things seem to go south with the dragon or his son tomorrow, I did not like what I heard about them branding possibly captives and lording over the people here. It just doesn't feel right. What's happening?
Well, of course it doesn't feel right. Oh, please go ahead.
Well, no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Of course it doesn't feel right. You're a free spirit. Why do you think you don't like listening to orders? No one can tie you down. That's why you don't like the idea of Brandon or slavery. Of course, some people would say it's completely normal. But it's not. I'm not defending them. Don't get me wrong. But if things do go south, as you said, we will do our best to avoid conflict. You must promise me that you would not act upon your passions.
That's what I meant when I said that I can't make any promises.
I can't tell you what to do, Saoirse. If that's what you feel like you must do, then do it. I will never stop you from your choices.
I will do my best to keep myself reined in. Because I don't want to put any of you into harm's way.
Oh, whether you like it or not, Saoirse. Camille stops walking and looks at the sky as if she found what she was looking for. We're already in danger. The lot of us.
It's true. Too true. There's so much else going on that I often feel that I'm in over my head.
I sense uncertainty in the usual confident Saoirse that we usually see.
I've learned to hide. I've learned to hide it over the years, but yes, I'm not afraid to die. I've run into that possibility many times when I was a soldier. I left before they could throw me out. My parents always said. But yeah, this time is with everything going on with Boltzmann and what we learned from No Tree and the council, the incident there, those creatures. Something is going on that threatens our entire world. And for the first time in a long time, yes, I'm uncertain of what to do, what to think.
You know, what I like to do when I'm uncertain, I like to go on walks. I just like to be in silence with no such talk of coconuts or anything else. Of course, it warms my heart to see them so happy. You hardly ever see Branimir or Boltzmann smile or laugh. And I've never seen Dante so defeated. It's like he didn't even want to be there. But when I'm uncertain, I like to listen to the world. The world knows everything. It is old. It has so much knowledge. It moves differently. Maybe for you, the best thing to clear your mind and perhaps give you the confidence that you once have is to find yourself in silence.
Wise. Very wise words, Camille. Saoirse would be, you'd actually see her kind of, she was being maybe a bit fidgety at times, kind of fiddling with pieces of her armor as she was talking. But this time you'd see her kind of massaging her left arm where I don't think I mentioned it back when they were in Amma, the conversation about the tattoos in the bathhouse, but you would have seen that she also had this fairly intricate tattoo on her left forearm,
Mhm.
and she would be massaging that arm. I don't think she told you about it.
No.
Yeah, she didn't tell you about it. Yeah, she
No.
didn't tell you about it, but you'd see her massaging that arm. I think you're right. Maybe I do. I miss the silence of my forest.
Camille would gently put a warm hand on Saoirse's arm, and then she waves towards the forest and the wildlife. Look, you're not too far.
Maybe I can find some of that same silence here. Yes.
And as you look out, you've walked to this portion of this road where there's a clearing, more rocky than trees. There's a few trees in the distance, kind of swaying in the gentle night air. You hear crickets, you hear kind of the gentle sounds of night within the forest below, within the jungle below. But here it's much softer, much gentler, calming, peaceful.
Well, why don't... About how far away at this point, because they've been continuing to walk, how far away from the village are they?
Only you guys have been walking slow, so I'd say only 5 or 10 minutes away. You're outside in the jungle. You're not, or on the path still. You're not off the major path, so you seem to fairly close. You could make it back in 5 minutes if you were pushing time.
Okay. Yeah, she would... Yeah. Well... I like this clearing. I think I'll pause here. Maybe stop here and... Feel free to continue walking on your own way if you'd like. But I think I'll see what silence I can obviously find here.
Of course.
Maybe I can find some peace.
Of course you will. If you continuously look for something, eventually you will find it. And Saoirse,
Yes.
I'm an Azamar. I don't walk, I fly.
Yes, I've...
I'll see you in the morning. And if Dante is still sleeping on the floor, tell him he's free to take my bed.
I will.
Camille at this point is just slowly walking away, and she exposes her wings and pushes her feet off the ground and takes flight into the night sky.
And Saoirse would give a little wave as she flies off. Then walk into the middle of the clearing by herself. And sit down, maybe legs crossed, and just listen. Listen to the forest.
Yeah, and you can definitely do that. You take a deep breath, your mind kind of fills with emptiness, which is what you're trying to do, trying to clear your own mind. You take a deep breath and let out all of that anxiety that has been kept within you. You breathe out and release some of the tension. You feel your shoulders kind of drop back, droop. Not as tense, not so as upright, and you feel better. You still feel the pressures of everything. You know that nothing has changed except your perspective. Seeing it from this calmer angle. Seems still difficult, but easier in a way. You see the togetherness of the group, the unity that has been built, which is a strength. You begin focusing more on the strengths of the group rather than the weaknesses. And it's clearing and uplifting, and it fills your lungs with confidence.
Yes, she feeling herself relax somewhat. Relatively speaking, yes, she would just continue sitting there enjoying that little bit of peace. Maybe whisper a prayer of thanksgiving in primordial. She would whisper a little prayer to the wild bountress, thanking her for at least this, however brief, moment of peace.
Good. And as you sit there, you do feel this uplifting. Eventually, you are able to clear your mind and make your way back. See, Camille, you fluttered away. Did you flutter back towards town?
Eventually she will. She's in her own head right now. That's why she needed to take flight. It feels more like home to her. And so she's just enjoying what her eyes can see. But eventually she will return, perhaps in the morning.
Okay. So you find a spot. You're able to find a perch still off the ground after your fly has kind of exhausted itself. Found a perch and are able to look up into the clear and over the clearings of the jungle, seeing the ocean clearly from this point of view, seeing the horizon from one side, and turning your head to the other, seeing the volcano that still is active, puffing smoke, glowing with this faint orange glow at the top. You're able to perch there, rest. Everyone else is able to make it, rest, be able to make it back. Saoirse's able to make it back to the tavern. The coconuts eventually tire of their plans for the moment and are able to take a rest. Everyone is able to complete a long rest.
Oh, DM.
Yep.
Quick question though. Before going to sleep,
Mhm.
I would, looking around though in the sleeping quarters. Are there any other than us? Is there anybody else sleeping in the room currently?
Yes, the ambassador and her 2 escorts.
All right. Well, making sure that they're asleep though. Boltzmann would want to take this short time before resting, to inspect the rifle that he got from Roland.
Okay.
He just want to see if there's anything that he could possibly modify or probably tinker a few things about it. Just see if there's anything anything special about it, or things that he can't just remove or and such. Essentially, he's just looking if there are any ways, if he could find ways to improve upon it.
You're essentially asking if you'd be able to upgrade your your rifle. Essentially.
Yeah. See,
I would say you could, but unlike traditional just magic boom, here it is upgrade, it would take some time and research because this is an item that you are familiar with the principles of, the artillery, but this was not your design, and the weapon was not being non-magical.
Mhm.
Your artillery works with magical influence, where this does not. This has its own. Similar to the pistol, and you've learned that, but this would be something that would be beyond that in its range and in its effect. So, I would say yes. Eventually, you could, but it would take time to be able to study and diagram and break it down and kind of rebuild it to be able to get to that information.
All right, because I eventually would want to put an infusion on it. One of my artificer infusions to add probably the repeating shot that I used to put on the pistol that I had made.
Yeah.
So I would just. So you're saying that I can't for now. All right.
I'm saying at this point in time, it would
All right.
not work. But if you spent enough time, I would say whatever time it took you to kind of come up with the plans for the pistol, I think that was like I don't know if that was a week or how many hours that was. I would say it would be similar to that. Once you had done that, then you'd be able to kind of put some sort of buff onto the arcane buff onto this rifle.
All right, good. So yeah, for that, Boltzmann would just want to take because if anything, this would probably be the first time that he's actually taken a close look on the rifle.
Mm-hmm.
So he just want to poke around, see what he can probably do. Seeing how it's a bit too advanced to take it all in just one night, he would just take a few notes, then stow it back into his bag of holding, and go to sleep.
Okay. Everyone else is able to eventually find rest. The new day begins. Early the next morning, the sunlight hits your covered, open sleeping quarters. There's really not much blocking the sun at this point, so it's early when the light hits, especially being on top of this cliff next to the western coast where the sun rises here. The heat is not so bad here in the morning, but it's still warm compared to what you're used to. Not long after you are able to rise, you hear the drowish hosts stirring on the bottom floor, preparing meals for everyone for the day. You're able to make it downstairs. You are served, and actually on the table already, family style, are corn-based flatbread, buttermilk, yogurt, olives, non-ama dishes, but definitely some substance. Keep your energies up. There's a last thing that gets put on the table once everyone's there is a goat meat stew. It's a tomato stew with goat meat and chickpeas.
Well, Dante's excited.
Sounds so delicious. I'm hungry again.
Not gonna lie, that sounds appetizing.
Dante jumps in. So as soon as there's an offer of food or to get your own, he's up and he's there.
Yep, it's all on the tables. She's going to combine a table that's big enough for you and the ambassadors. The ambassador to kind of sit together, similar to where the way you were the night before.
Dante will sit away from the ambassador and her group.
Okay. Yep, there's free tables there. There's no one else besides you guys here this morning. Ambassador Salam says, Al-Ren will get us when he is ready, scheduled for early this morning, but we are unfortunately on his time. Anything that you guys want to do while you wait?
I guess we might as well prepare, mentally and physically prepare ourselves for what we could possibly face. So, I guess Bran would, in between mouthfuls of scooping the stew into his mouth, he will turn to everyone else and ask, so what do we know about this Multaq?
Well, he's a red dragon, and as far as aren't we meeting his son, technically? Not Multaq himself.
Nobody has seen his Multaq. They've been talking or engaging with his son. Yeah, that's what the ambassador said, I believe.
Who knows?
Yes, my meeting is with Al-Ren, but my hope is to be able to visit with Multaq, or at least see him directly.
But there's no way of knowing if he will in fact be there. Still, what do we know about Multaq?
Well, from what we know of
the better
Multaq,
question would be, what is his temperament? Is he
that is
at
the
least amenable?
well, that is the conundrum that we face, because previously, it's been almost for a century. This area, this region, has been influenced by Multaq. Typically, we had found him not to be the most pleasant of hosts, but at least he was amenable. The people could get rich here as long as Multaq became richer. The lion's share would, of course, go to Multaq, and the people would be able to keep what they had earned and come and go freely. It was not until recently, within the past 2 years, we believe, that the keeping of the personnel that was in the mines has stayed.
That doesn't just sit right with me.
To our knowledge, then, since Multaq has not been seen for so long, but his son has, there's a strong chance, at least it seems to me, that perhaps it is his son's doing then that has led to these long-term, indefinitely long-term captivity of the miners.
We believe, well, we do not have confirmation, so to be able to speak is out of turn, but yes, that is what we're here to find out. What influence Al-Ren does have on his father, if any, or if this is simply a dragon becoming more chaotic and more evil in his growth. It's difficult to tell without interfacing. I assume that we'll interface with Al-Ren sometime shortly, and hopefully he will allow us an audience with Multaq.
Out of character, quick question. Remind me the others. Is it Bran? Isn't it Bran who also speaks Dwarvish?
Yes, Bran does understand Dwarvish.
Okay.
Bran and Boltzmann.
Oh, perfect. So I think Saoirse would actually look to the two of them, assuming in some downtime. And here's going to be my question then to you, Brad.
Mhm.
Can I assume as a player that they have had an opportunity, even though we haven't roleplayed it, that maybe Saoirse, the three of them have shared this fact that they all know Dwarvish?
Yeah, I would say over time you've probably been around each other long enough, probably a month or so since, or a little bit less.
Yeah.
I would say that would probably come up in some conversations that couldn't be roleplayed. I would say sure.
Okay, yeah, because I just wanted to double check before I did it. So she would turn to them and say, in probably not the greatest Dwarvish, but serviceable Dwarvish, how do you think that Multaq could be infected just like the owlbear back at the dilapidated temple? Broken temple, I think, is probably how she would phrase it.
I guess at Saoirse's sudden conversation in Dwarvish, Bran will kind of his eyes will widen slightly as he hasn't heard Dwarvish in quite some time, actually.
How do you know our language? I listened. Sorry.
Pretty much. Well, that's how Bran learned it. He had Dwarvish compatriots, and that's how he learned. He kind of learned by fireside and sort of picked up on certain words. So he kind of stares at Saoirse for a minute, trying to refresh his memory on Dwarvish, and he kind of picks up bits and pieces of what Saoirse's trying to say, and he kind of slowly nods at the mention of either Multaq or his son himself being infected, similarly to the owlbear. He will agree with that. It's quite possible.
As for Boltzmann, Boltzmann learned Dwarvish because a lot of, I would imagine that a lot of textbooks would be also in Dwarvish, or a lot of important information as he was learning Artifice is in Dwarvish. And hearing Saoirse suddenly talk in Dwarvish, he would just raise an eyebrow, squint a bit, and then upon hearing Saoirse mention about the being infected, Boltzmann would chew his food slowly and take a hard swallow. It would reply, also in Dwarvish, "He's too smart. It's a dragon. Smart. Probably more like me." And he'd tap he'd tap the side of his head, implying that not just infected, not just seemingly taken over by the how do you say this? Taken over just like an owlbear. It would probably be something like, him having a passenger in its head controlling it or something.
And to that, Bran will kind of...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, alright. And to that, Bran will kind of turn his attention to Boltzmann as he says this, and he also nods to Boltzmann and replies in at first quite rusty Dwarvish, but eventually as he eases into it, it starts to sound a bit more fluent, and He even throws in some hand gestures and like tapping of the arms and over the wrists, as it becomes quite apparent that Bran's experience of Dwarvish was not learned from a textbook, but rather mimicked or copied off of watching other dwarves speak, including the gestures and everything. He replies with, I'm just going to assume that Dwarvish in this world has a specific term for illithids. So he'll basically just say, do you think illithids could handle a dragon?
Boltzmann would just shrug and say, not too sure, but it's a possibility. Now, before we continue speaking in Dwarvish, I think we should not make a habit of it, speaking this way in front of the dignitaries. It is somewhat, I'd imagine that it's somewhat disrespectful for them.
She would agree. She agrees in Dwarvish.
Sirsha would then probably curse, whisper a little curse in Orcish, in Orc this time. So probably much even more guttural than the Dwarvish. And then reverting back to Dwarvish. My apologies, Ambassador.
It is fine. I would be interested in knowing more about this encounter that you've had. Infection. And there was a term there that I did not understand. Infected by what?
Sirsha would, at this point, clear her throat. And she would switch back to common now, so that the other two would understand what they're saying. Because she's, assuming she hasn't heard the other two speaking in Dwarvish as they've been traveling together. Well, that, I think, is up to all of us if we can share that information. And so she would look to the other four, deferring to them about what they want to share regarding the owl bear and Boltzmann.
Boltzmann already appears to actually be ready to share the information with the dignitaries. But then, he still looked towards mainly Camiel and Dante. If they're up for it.
Dante sort of got like food halfway into his mouth, sort of staring at the three of you. Just amazed at what's going on. And he just sort of motions with his spoon and nods, just like, go on, and just keeps eating. It's like, he's just watching this whole thing. He saw you guys switch between Dwarven, and obviously she cottoned onto it, and he's just like, keep going, it's, might as well, cat's out of the bag now.
And I did post in our chat, not Twitch chat, but in our main chat, a section of the character sheet, so you didn't think I was just making it up. She actually does know Dwarvish.
Yeah.
Nice try, Sirsha.
Yeah, that's I as a player, I was thinking to myself, crap, she's an ambassador, She probably knows Dwarvish.
She knows
Yeah,
but
everything.
Sirsha wouldn't know that. Sirsha wouldn't think that. She would just think, you know what? She definitely knows Common. You know, this is what I know about her, so I'm going to switch to the one language I know that at least 3 of us know. So, yeah. Probably better. Sirsha, okay, switching back. Sirsha, well, it's probably best then that you know a little bit more about what we could be dealing with. Well, Boltzmann, Bran, the 2 of you know better than I do about both of the situations. About the owlbear, she'd look at Bran, and about your passenger, Boltzmann.
At the mention of the passenger, Boltzmann would let out a sharp exhale. He's still somewhat uncomfortable with about the thought of that, having that thing inside his head. All right. Well, Ambassador, what I will tell you is something which poses a sort of danger, not only for Armor, but also for the other kingdoms. Are you sure that we can trust you with this, though? I mean...
I have been upfront with you with all of these dealings. The Paladin helps me feel confident in you. I hope that my trust has been made by declarations and the opinions that we've already voiced.
All right. I'm sorry, it's just my nature, to be sure. If you could forgive me. But anyways, there are these ancient creatures. Ancient since even now. Years ago, our heroes of old have actually fought them. These dark creatures are starting to pop up in Armor. They have taken over some of the wildlife, owlbears, and mainly owlbears, turning them into sorts of guardians for. Boltzmann is looking for the right words. Guardians for, I don't know, old temples of sorts for those things. And currently, we have been told that a certain agent for those creatures have infected commoners with sorts of parasites, which would eventually turn them into those said creatures. The thing is, one of those things is inside my head, and that's why we are here, to find a cure for this. But after that, we still have to find a way to contain it. At least quell that sort of problem back in Armor.
These forces that you speak of, do you speak of the Shadow Queen?
Boltzmann's eyes widen at the mention of the Shadow Queen. Actually, we haven't used that word in quite some time, haven't we, guys?
No, I think we've been sort of steering clear of it.
Yeah, because we've only been using like the terms illithids and not like the Shadow Queen, right?
Like we say,
The last time we used the Shadow Queen was on the ship, I believe, the voyage that we had, with the song or the hymn that was being sung by the turtle, Yordle.
Yordle the turtle. Yeah,
Yordle the turtle. Yordle.
Yeah, no, I think it was just
York.
Your
The last time that you guys have spoke of the Shadow Queen, or the last, I believe it was after that song, was Notri speaking before the Brotherhood of Suns.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, that's the I think most recent mention of that. See, upon the mention of the Shadow Queen, Boltzmann's eyes wide open. He remembers that incident, that time where they were attacked during the meeting.
A high mystic of Udjat, Namur Nazari, had attended a meeting. A council of sorts. And in this meeting, they were attacked by the Shadow Queen. He relayed that information to those related to the council, persons like myself, persons in need to know. There is alarm, but there is also a hindrance within the group, not quite knowing what to do about such a development.
So you're aware of these things. Good. And how has been Udjat's government? Udjat's government. How has their response been with that? Hostile? Wary or anything?
No, the High Mystic is definitely to be believed. We believe in what he has said. We believe that this is something that we will have to face in the future. Seeing no present instances, seeing no cause for alarm, immediate danger, that is, the response has been little, except for researching further. With time, we hope to find out more. Hopefully before it is too late.
Boltzmann nods. He's somewhat relieved that at least the Udjati, how would you say that? Demographic Udjati government is unlike the Amian government, who immediately branded the Brotherhood as terrorists of sorts. So at least he's kind of relieved at that. And Boltzmann would nod and good. Probably after this ticking time bomb inside my head is solved, probably we could talk and learn more about these things.
Any information that could be useful will be appreciated.
I believe that such a conversation should wait after. He gestures around after this. It's going to be a long one.
At this point, you do see someone kind of make their way in. A guard dressed in makeshift armor kind of slowly walks into the inn towards the ambassador. Her escorts kind of stand and move to the ready, but she kind of calms them with a hand. Ambassador, Al-Ren says he is too busy to meet this morning. Hopefully, he can see you later this afternoon, when his schedule is more clear. The ambassador nods at the guard, and the guard quickly retreats out of the room.
Does the guard, by any chance, bear the sigil?
Roll a perception check.
Oh boy. Why do I ask these things when I'm not Gareth?
First roll of the night.
Nope. Nope.
Second.
Third roll of the night.
Oh yeah, it is. Goodness.
That is a 6.
Oh yeah, it is.
That is a 6.
It was hard to see. There, he did have a kind of an undershirt of sorts that was covering part of his arm, so you did not see Could not see anything.
So as he exits, Camiel enters. They cross each other's paths. The moment Camiel sees him, she gives him just a curt nod and walks towards the group and the ambassador.
He gives you a kind of a huff as he kind of doesn't move out of the path that he was on, and continues forward.
Okay, then she just moves to the side. She doesn't care. Anyway, yes, she approaches and gives a curt bow to the ambassador. Ambassador, San Salam. Pleasant morning to you. I apologize if I'm a little late. I had to be out for the night. And I didn't want my friend here, who's stuffing his face with food, to sleep on the floor. So, here I am. Did I miss anything?
Dante pushes a bowl that's got food in it. Save some for you, and he's on his second bowl now, and he's
Oh,
shoving
Jesus
it away.
Christ.
Never know when you're gonna eat again. And he just keeps eating.
Where were you all night, Camille? Making a nest?
I was dancing naked under the moonlight.
I always knew you were the witchy type.
Camille laughs. No, I was indeed nesting in the tallest trees. So it was a lovely night. It was a lovely night. But did I miss anything at all? She looks to Bran and then looks to the ambassador.
Seems like our meeting was cancelled.
For now. The meeting will be happening, whether Al-Ren appreciates it or not.
So perhaps he's just a busy man. Camille says that with sarcasm.
Dragon.
Is he a dragon?
He's dragon. He's the son of the dragon.
Be adopted.
Next time I will ask.
Don't
I
assume
believe
one's
that
right.
Al-Ren is half dragon.
Ah, I see.
Dante
Okay.
points his spoon at you, just like, yeah, see?
So, knowing that, when will the meeting be?
He is postponed for now.
For now. They didn't say when.
He will check in again this afternoon.
I see. Alright. A few guesses will say that he's probably going to postpone that too. A few guesses as to why, but Camille finds a seat and sits herself down and grabs a bowl.
Do you think he's heard word of a paladin of Sister Ava within the vicinity?
Camille is about to put a spoonful of stew into her mouth, and she stops midway, and she turns to look at Bran. I highly doubt it. We're not that much of a threat.
Well, you make me nervous.
Camille laughs. You're funny.
Bran kind of like softly chuckles as he eyes Camille's halberd.
Funny.
Time passes. You guys are in. Are you guys doing anything? Or are you staying within the confines of the inn? The Hassan's Rest?
I think it's safe if we all huddled in one area in this particular area that doesn't exactly appreciate our foreigners.
It's hookah time.
The ambassador does have papers, and she kind of goes through the papers nervously, more nervously than actually studying or learning anything. shuffling and going through as time passes. Time goes by. Later this afternoon, another guard, the same guard. Yes.
Saoirse would actually ask a quick question. Sorry, I was fiddling with something to hopefully cut back on some extra noise.
Mhm.
Saoirse would, seeing the ambassador shuffling paper, and seeing her shuffling them nervously, she would say to the ambassador in Sylvan, begging your pardon, may I ask you a question?
Hold on one second.
Yeah, actually, let me double check. She would. No, Elvish.
Yeah, she does not know.
Yeah, she wouldn't understand. So, she would. Hopefully, she would at least understand. Basically, Saoirse's trying to make a little bit better impression. She's like, hey, I know a few languages too. I'm not just some country bumpkin.
And actually, when you do say that, she would answer you in Elvish back.
Yeah, and Saoirse doesn't speak Elvish. She only speaks Elvish.
If common can be a agreed upon language,
of course,
your Sylvan is fairly nice from what I've heard. I don't speak it myself, but I'm aware of it.
Well, thank you. And yes, common. And for the other, I wasn't sure if I was thinking maybe you might prefer privacy, more privacy. However, said, I noticed that you seem a bit nervous. Are you, if I may, a little more worried after the delay this morning?
The delay is not the optimal outcome, but not unexpected. He has nothing to gain by allowing me an audience, and possibly quite a lot to lose.
And what do you have?
I'm sorry, what do I have?
Yes. As
Well,
I said, you seem nervous. What do you have to lose from meeting?
I would say less anxious and more less anxious for my own sake, less anxious for his sake, more anxious for the people that continue to be here. It has always been my goal in every situation is to help those in need, and there is a great need here. The sooner I can find out the information I need to know, the faster we can act upon it.
I understand. I believe, to some degree, share.
Good. And as you wrap up your conversation, the same guard that had previously came in comes in again, sheepishly, walks towards the ambassador. Ambassador, Al-Ren says he has matters to deal with today in the mines, and we'll meet with you at the earliest tomorrow. You can tell Al-Ren the longer the Ra waits for my report, the more worrisome he will be about our situation. I will be sure to let him know of your concerns. and walks backwards for a few steps and then bolts out the door.
Did Camiel hear this?
Yep, it was open in a main bar area, the main seating area of the bar of the inn.
To this, Camiel kind of crosses her arms and picks at her fingernails, then tilts her head towards the ambassador. Smiles. I told you.
Yes. Lovely.
What exactly is he trying to do? At this point, Camiel is walking towards the ambassador.
Delay. Again, he has no benefit of meeting me. I can offer him nothing. He knows that the interviews will hold more weight than anything that he could say.
I see. I don't suppose there's anything we can do.
No. I do not believe that he will postpone again. Or if he does, I do not believe I will allow it. Tomorrow we will have our meeting with Al-Ren, one way or another.
Camiel nods. Of course.
Time passes again. Is there anything you want to do before you rest again?
For the most part of the day, Boltzmann would just be inspecting the rifle, making notes here and there.
Busy boy.
Of course he is.
For Bran, I think he's going to head out. Is there a marketplace in this village, or something that resembles a marketplace?
There is a small marketplace that you passed on the way in, but did not look at in great detail.
All right. Bran will kind of cross his arms over his chest and shake his head at the mention of being delayed once again. Bran isn't the most patient of people, but he releases that frustration in a great big huff, and he turns to the rest of the group. Well, I won't be kept up in this establishment any further. Anybody want to come with me? Do a bit of exploring?
Dante's hand shoots up in the air. He's been lazily sucking back hookah and writing in his book for the better part of the day, and he sort of just looks up. I'm game. Let's do this.
There we go. Dante. Anybody else?
Well, if you two are going, I was going to go, but you two can take care of yourselves, right?
Of course.
All right.
Right.
Bran kind of gives this really this wide smile. Almost looks like he's baring his teeth rather than smiling.
Oh, you'll be fine. Dante.
I've got
Patrium boys in
Udjat
Udjat.
boys. That's the way.
Out on the town.
You're perfectly fine. I'll look after you, Bran.
And I'll look after Dante. That's how this works.
Exactly.
And I'll look after the ambassador, because that's what I'm meant to do.
So you guys go out and you walk towards the market. Every so often you see a few of the town guards. Most of them, same kind of a look and feel to them. Most of them, you can tell, have some sort of branding on their arms or forearms of this draconic M symbol with the arcane fire surrounding it. As for the market itself, you see a couple of fresh fruit vendors from with some of the jungle fruits that are available there. You see the coconuts that were provided for you. You see a stack of them in one stall, as well as you see a whole bunch of fruits that you're not really aware of what they are. You get kind of a nice aroma of them, and it's a very sweet kind of high aroma of these fruits. You see some pineapples, and you see some other jungle fruits. You're not quite exactly sure what they are. Is there something specific that you're looking for?
Sir Brad,
Yep.
I was about to say, before Bran and Dante would leave, Boltzmann would kindly ask Bran to. What he would do is that he would give a small piece of paper to Bran, a shopping list essentially. Yeah. If you could find some materials for bullets and all that, I've listed them here. If you could find these materials, please buy them for me. I'll pay you back however much you spent on it.
Alright. So with that said, I guess Bran will approach one of the stalls, and he'll kind of start rubbing the back of his neck as he kind of squints.
You kind of hear pounding of steel and iron towards the backside of the market. So you kind of head in that direction.
There we go. Alright. So yeah, I guess we'll first head in that direction to see if we could find some sort of blacksmith or forge.
Okay. So you do find a blacksmith kind of tucked away near the back of the market, up closer to where this kind of level area of cliff kind of before it starts before it becomes more elevated and deeper into the mountainous area. Kind of tucked away, you see this kiln is very hot. As soon as you step in near it, you see the smoke and you see the scent of burning sulfur. You start getting all these senses kind of overwhelming when you kind of close in. It's kind of like a tent area. It's kind of open on all sides, but you see a very large hulking orc working in this space with just enough coverage to keep the sun and the rain off of him. But as you look around this table and of the things that he has available, you do not see any weapons. You see tools, you see kitchen equipment, you see shovels and picks, but you do not see anything in the way of traditional armor, any armaments, any kind of weapons or anything like that. Roll a investigation or perception if you want to touch one of the items or look closely at some of the items.
Hey Dante, do you mind if Dante has a bit of a peek? He's like, look around.
No, I do not mind at all. Please do. I do not trust my perception.
Oh well, that's not a bad start.
So a 15. You see quite a few kind of on this table. You see a decent amount of equipment.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, perception.
That's a persuasion check.
Oh, was it?
Oh, that's a persuasion check.
Oh, it was. So,
You have successfully tucked the spoon that you were holding into.
You know what? That's exactly 2 points
Something
more than that should have been on there. It's like I roll it the first
There
time.
you go. Wow, you.
That is a 19. by the way.
It's a 19. You look. There are a few tables of equipment. Again, a lot of this is tools, like household tools. You pick up just a standard like kitchen knife, and you look at the detail on this thing, and it's pretty amazing how detail oriented this is. This seems to be a very high quality. Any of the weld points or any of the not weld points, any of the any of the forged materials just seem very high detailed, very high quality, and the precision of which this is created. You would see this as just a normal kitchen knife, but it feels. You pick it up and it seems just almost perfect in your hand. The detail on the hilt of the knife is just looks way more detailed and way more
something
way better.
Something you wouldn't be expecting from just. You said it was just a normal sort of food knife.
Yeah, it seems like time and care has been taken in this. You put the knife down, you start looking at other things, and they all have this kind of detail to quality and detail to details,
Yep.
which are something that it's just not available in everyday items like this. You see the big hulking orc working behind, and he kind of. Can I help you?
Dante, I imagine Bran sort of leading the way when he first came in and sort of starting to look at everything, and then chewing on one of the exotic fruits as he sort of sticks his head past Bran's and kind of looks over his shoulder or looks to the side of his shoulder, kind of getting the idea. That's when he sort of spotted the knife and he sort of and he picks that up and he starts having a look at the other stuff and he sort of points to Bran, and as the orc says, can I help you? He's just sort of talking to Bran and the orc at the same time, and there's a rather skilled, very skilled, skillfully crafted cutlery you have there. Do you have any anything like that in more useful items, like a knife or a sword or a rapier, anything like that?
Kind of looks around, back out towards the rest of the market and back towards the barracks. Al-Ren and the Knights of Multaq announced last year that no one's able to create weapons of any kind. If I get caught making anything much more than this knife, the punishment would be swift. I'd be in the mines before the steel could fully cool.
Dante sort of picks the knife back up and it just balances it. This is a perfectly weighted kitchen tool. Somebody with a skill shouldn't be making such mundane items.
Agreed.
Yeah, well, I'd rather be making these mundane items than anything for them.
Dante sort of just glanced at Bran. So I take it they're not well favoured around here.
You're not from here, are you?
How did you tell?
It's our dashing good looks, right?
I thought I fit in perfectly. And he just sort of brushes the big feather on his hat.
Things used to be different. It used to be an understanding. A man could get rich as long as Multaq got richer. I was into that. It's not a perfect world, but it kept people coming back, and people coming out of the mines would buy. They would love to buy fresh armor, new swords, warhammers, rapiers. It was not a perfect world, but people kept coming back, and I got rich, and I made money, and everything was good. Hell, things change.
Oh, please. Is there any more to that story? What changed?
Al-Ren. Yeah. Kind of just shakes his head.
Oh, sorry.
He just kind of shakes his head at the thought of it, and kind of tends to the kiln.
Dante once again will sort of glance at Bran as sort of like ooh, we might have something here. Look, glance back at the door to make sure nobody's there. How long? We've been hearing talk. We're here. We heard Multaq was in charge, but nobody seems to have seen Multaq for quite some time. Al-Ren seems to be running things around here.
Yep, that's about how it is.
Doesn't that seem strange?
Nobody questions it.
What if they do? I can't even make a sword.
Or questioning. We're just trying to pull the threads of this puzzle. That's not quite what that means, but we're trying to get a meeting. Yeah, he says that out loud. It's not quite what that means, but we're trying to get a meeting with Multaq, and Al-Ren is.
Good luck.
Oh, we're part of an entourage. There is a meeting set up, but Al-Ren keeps pushing the time.
Yeah. Make a persuasion check to see if you can get something more from this guy.
Go for it.
I hope I
Come on.
roll more than before. Ah,
Oh yeah, there we go.
Al-Ren grew up in this village. He was never one to mess with, but something changed in him. He became heartless. Slowly. But then, 2 years, 1 month, 7 days ago, something changed. My brother has been in that pit since then. Turns back to the kiln and flips the ingot that he's working on.
Dante just sort of glances at Bran. But like,
So nobody that goes into the mines ever returns? Not a one?
Make another perception check. Or make another persuasion check.
Oh no.
with advantage, Bran?
With advantage, since you scored a positive on the other one that was so high, and Dante's still standing there next to you.
Watch as I fail it.
You've got this, Bran. It's okay.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's the way.
17.
It is a 17, everyone.
There is ways. I've delivered things to the mines before, but it's very risky. Some have escaped, but most who die, most have tried, have died. If you get caught, you stay in the mines. But your family out here just might join you or even tortured in front of you.
And I assume the Knights of Multaq are the ones who enforce this?
Yep.
Were there, Dante was just going to ask, were there always Knights of Multaq?
There's always been Knights of Multaq. For a while, at least. It was changed, though. 10 years or so. They've been around, officially uniformed, if you call it that. Branded, if you call it that. Is there anything else you guys need? Or?
How much for the knife?
5 gold.
Dante will drop 5 gold on the counter and take the knife.
Thank you. You know, just from your dealings, that something like this would not be nearly that expensive. But you've also noticed that with everything around here seems to be inflated.
Yeah.
Even when you're talking about the price of the fruits, the price of the lodging, that seem to be more expensive than what you've seen in Alma. Usually triple or usually about double or triple what you would normally spend for something here.
And I assume Al-Ren is also the tax collector?
He wouldn't dirty his hands with such jobs, but he's definitely the recipient. Under the name of Multaq. Who knows?
Bran kind of glances down at his hand for a moment, and his eyes sort of trace the outline of his ring of sending for a moment, and he kind of curls his fingers into a fist before he outstretches it to the orc. Perhaps if you were to use this, would you be able to contact your brother?
What is that?
Bran kind of turns his head from side to side as if to check for any guards or any knights of Multaq. Does he spot any, or are there any nearby that are within earshot?
Roll a perception check.
Oh god. Why do I do this to myself? I know I don't have perception, but I keep asking these questions.
Bro.
I can't see over Dante's feather.
Well, Dante, if you like seeing Bran and what he's doing, Dante's eyes just sort of go wide, and he just sort of watches Bran look toward the door and just sort of takes a little slurpy bite of what's left of his fruit awkwardly, and moves towards the door just to sort of sit on the outside as if he's waiting.
Okay. This is kind of open air, so it's just a tent that kind of keeps the rain and the sun off of him. So you can see all around without any. Yeah. The only 2 actual structures in this village are the barracks and the inn. So yeah, this is a kind of a tent that has been set up with this kilt around it, or within it. But yeah, you can take a look around. Roll a perception check.
Oh, okay. He was mostly just going out there just to keep an eye out if anyone was approaching, but I will happily take a perception check if I press the right one this time. Oh, no. Oh, I did that twice.
Okay.
Did that twice?
I'll take the 22. Or should I add them together and then divide?
I mean...
No, I'll take the 22. No, you do see a few of the knights of Multaq, but they seem to be towards the front of the market, kind of taking rounds of making sure that people are, just seeming menacing, walking around the townspeople. But yeah, it seems clear around you. There doesn't seem to be anybody around.
Okay. He'll just stay there. Let Bran do his thing.
Alright, so I guess Bran will wait for Dante to kind of give him the okay signal before he continues.
Waves his fruit at you.
Okay, so Bran will just sharply nod and extend the ring, I guess, towards the orc so that he can get a better look at it. It's a ring of sending. It's a magical item. It'll be able to send one message to somebody within a maximum of 20 words. You could be able to communicate with your brother.
Are you giving this to me?
Consider it a loan.
Okay. To what? What do you want from me?
Honestly, I'm just doing this for the sake of at least having some sort of communication. We don't know what's going on in those mines, and frankly, we'd like to know. This operation here, it doesn't sit quite well for me.
He slowly kind of moves his hand and takes the ring from your outstretched hand, kind of takes it in his very large orcish fingers. He does kind of fidget with it a little bit and gets it over his smallest finger, just over the tip, barely fitting at all, but is there. Now what? He just looks up at you, questioning why he has this ring on his finger.
Well, Bran continues. At least what I do is I think of the person. I try to see their face and focus on it. And just speak with your mind. As if having a regular conversation, as if he was right in front of you.
He can hear me?
He can
say anything?
No, he cannot. Wait, can he?
Yeah,
No.
He's given 25 words, and then he's able to receive 25 words.
I see, okay. So he can't reply. Alright.
Oh, I thought you could reply as well. You can't?
You can.
You can.
You can't. You get 25 words, and the receiver gets 25 words.
Alright, yeah. So Bran will relay that to the orc blacksmith.
He kind of has a high eyebrow and looking at you before shutting his eyes, thinking for a moment. You see his mouth kind of mutter a little bit. And then, without opening him, his eyes go wide as he's receiving something from the other side. After a moment, he opens his eyes and looks at you. Thank you. It's been quite a long time since I was able to say anything to him. Thank you. If you need anything else from me, please, just let me know.
Bran nods with a smile and accepts his ring back if the orc is offering it back. And he replies by saying, "So I take it he's alive and well."
Yes. He's alive. Yeah, and he would kind of pry it off of his finger a little bit and then look to where to put it, and you would raise your hand out and take it back.
Yeah, to which Bran will place the ring where it was originally placed around his finger. And I guess not really willing to pry,
as it is most likely a private affair, and if there was any information that the orc was willing to release, then I assume you would do so. Bran will kind of turn his head and nod towards Dante that, the business that was being conducted is finished, and he will then, Bran will kind of make an audible oop as he recalls Boltzmann's grocery list of parts or materials that he might need, and Bran kind of fishes it out from his plate armor and kind of squints at the scrawlings on the paper. And
He has legible handwriting.
I always figured Boltzmann to have like a doctor's handwriting, like, super fast and scribbly.
Boltzmann is an engineer. He's not me. He's not a philosopher.
So Bran kind of like squints at the paper and does well, actually, what did Boltzmann request specifically?
Lead and
black powder.
black powder. That's what you need to make bullets.
Bran kind of slowly repeats what is written on the paper, and he kind of shoots a glance over at the orc. I don't suppose you have any of these, would you?
Black powder's in short supply, but I could find some. Yeah. Come back tomorrow and I'll have how much you're looking for.
Did Boltzmann indicate the amount?
I would imagine that he would not have any. He did not put any actual measurements. Just probably. How do you? He would put like a measurement, like just one pack, I guess, because he would imagine that it were sold in packs, like back in Amma or something. But then he probably would have forgotten to take into account that he's no longer in Amma.
Bran sort of grimaces at this, at the amount indicated on the paper, and he kind of mutters, "God damn it, Boltzmann." Bran kind of tries to like reach into the back of his mind and try to think about
the proportions of it.
yeah, because I assume Boltzmann carries like a little baggie or something on his hip for like lead shot, doesn't he?
Actually, he would keep everything in his bag of holding. He would only take it out if he needs it, and so far he hasn't needed any bullets.
God damn it! I was gonna say Bran could probably try to estimate with his hands how large.
Seeing you thinking about this, I'll see what I can get. I'll do what I can for you.
Bran kind of sighs in relief, and he silently thanks the blacksmith for relieving him of having to process how much gunpowder Boltzmann needs. The next day, Bran brings over a keg. Is enough for you?
As soon as you kind of walk out from underneath the tent, you feel the sunlight hit you, Brad. Not only the warmness of the sun kind of hits you, but you feel kind of this uplifted spirit. Your mood shifts, not because of the sun, but more of you feel a certain connection. You feel closer to your deity than you did before going in there. And actually, it would trigger your fate. You have the option to commune if you would like to.
Ooh, okay, cool. I think Bran will save that for later on tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, as Bran sort of walks out, Dante sort of pats him on the shoulder, on his armor. Bran, sometimes I think you're just too good to be real. And then as he's sort of patting his shoulder, he realizes he's got a bit of sticky fruit that's still on him, and he wipes it off on Bran's armor. Just too good to be real, Bran.
Who says I ain't?
Real?
Could be a figment of your imagination.
That would explain a lot. My feelings for you, for one. And he just smiles and walks away.
Dante, wait, it's the voice of your conscience.
You guys continue to wander around the marketplace and then back towards the inn. And from there, we're going to take a small little break. Be gone for about 10 minutes. Before we started that, I wanted to thank a couple of people. We had some follows during the thing. We'll read all the follows during the break and then at the end. So at first, I want to say thanks to Danny Alex, Kiwanda, I'm not sure about that one. Followed yesterday. Merchants of RP, thank you. RPG, thank you for the follow. And Darth Tolin, my buddy from Bryn Nailed It stream, thank you for following as well. With that, we'll take a 10-minute break. We'll be back to continue the story in just a few minutes. All right.
Hey, thank you guys. Much appreciated.
Yes, definitely appreciated.
Thanks, guys. Back soon.
Pag-inom water, uy.
Here we go.
Way to go.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello.
All right.
And we're back.
We are back. So with the boys away at the market, Kemiel, you said that you were paying attention to the ambassador.
Yes.
You see her kind of shuffling papers, kind of pacing around a little bit, going back to her work, not having much to do. Continuing to go back to the papers every once in a while. She does kind of glance up and look at you a few times.
Camiel's just... Sorry. Go ahead.
No. She does kind of wave you over a little bit.
Of course, Camiel will bow slightly and move towards her with her hands behind her. Yes.
Tell me. Talk to me about something. Something that will take my mind off of the situation we're in.
It's been years since I've been back to Udjat.
Oh, yes. How do you... Were you from this area or from somewhere else?
Oh, I'm from somewhere else.
Most are.
I'm from the Sadir forest.
Ah, very nice. I knew someone from Sadir.
Oh, did you?
Yes, a long time ago.
Any news?
No. I didn't know him very well. Just an acquaintance, really. This is troubling. I wish they wouldn't make us wait like this.
Well, there's a reason as to why they're making us wait. I'm still trying to figure out as to why.
If you don't mind,
Oh.
may I ask you a bit of a forward question?
Of course.
Typically in Udjat, it's the job of those around them to support the paladin. Duty to Ilithana before all others. But you seem different. I do understand that they are not from Udjat, and you've spent time away. But you have come, to be frank, unprepared, to a red dragon's lair, all to help a group mate. It's refreshing, to say the least, but quite risky as well.
Camiel puts her hands together. She's obviously, maybe there's a hint of discomfort. Well, she looks to the she looks at an ambassador, and somehow that, I guess you can call the facade of that childlike female that everyone would know would vanish. It's just between you and I now.
Of course.
You are from Udjat, and I suppose my companions are odd. And if I were to be very frank with you, if it were not for Sister Eva, I would not set foot here. But I am a paladin. And from where I stand, It is my duty to defend and protect and help. A friend, a companion, whatever he may be, needs my help. And that's why I'm here. Whatever it takes. And now that you are here, perhaps it's fated. Maybe I am supposed to return home. Perhaps there are some chapters in my book that needs to be finished.
I apologize if I came off crossly. It was not my intent.
Oh,
I
never.
admire your group's devotion to one another. There's a lightness there that is well needed in these dark times.
But if I may say so, Sitter,
Mhm.
you don't need to apologize. These are tests, and I must complete them.
Agreed.
Do you fear of what would happen?
There are many outcomes, some more dangerous, some would cost more. I try to see things on a bigger scale. When you deal with the terms of nations and sovereignties, it's hard to see the individual sometimes. Or better yet, it's easy to see them. It's hard not to get lost in them if you allow yourself. I was once like you. I was once a paladin. I loved it. The open road, the freedom of being guided by the divinities without oversight, helping people who needed it the most, being able to make those calls on my own, with help from Ilathana, of course. But sadly, it wasn't the right fit. I didn't pass the test. It broke me. I always had the option to try again, and I felt the call, but I knew I would simply fail again. Simply wasn't strong enough.
Well, perhaps that's what you think. The road to being a paladin is not easy. But we always have a choice. Maybe now you think you're not ready. But give it another try. Maybe it will be different.
I appreciate the words of encouragement, but I feel I am on the right path. It took me many years to wander alone, figure out my direction. I wandered to Alcir, became a helper of someone who eventually became a council member. They were very kind to me and got me on the path of service, somewhere I could fulfill my adventuring dreams, but from the comfort of a meeting room rather than a dungeon. Hopefully I still help people. I just need less armor doing so.
Are you sure you didn't pass the test?
Mhm.
Perhaps you already had.
Hmm.
Just don't know it.
I believe I am where I need to be.
Well, as they say, not everyone can be a paladin. But absolutely not everyone can be an ambassador.
Surely. Thank you. Putting my mind at ease for a moment.
It's my job. Well, I try. I just have one question.
Of course.
If you can be truthful. When we meet this Al-Ren, there's always a possibility of death, correct?
Of course.
I see.
Yours, mine, his. All possible outcomes. Again, I try to see things in the most wide perspective I can.
For Ilithana.
For Ilithana. She kind of nods her head a little bit. Takes a step away from the table and towards one of the few windows that are in this room. Has her back to you and kind of looks out the window, staring off. Thinking, contemplating. The sun goes down. Food is served. You guys are well fed this trip. And is there anything that you guys would like to do before you rest again?
Where's Saoirse?
Where is
Yeah,
your...
she would have actually. She didn't go with anyone else. She was just sitting there. Actually, she was just sitting there, just listening. Yeah, she was originally gonna chime in, but then she just kind of let all of that go. So, yeah, she was sitting there. So I think after all of that was shared. After hearing Kamael share what she did with the ambassador, how it seems we both have more to ourselves. We have completely said to everyone.
Sorry, Rob, your mic is cutting in and out.
Crud. Yeah,
Darn.
sorry, I had just, I'll just have to lean into it a little further. I cut the input back a bit because
I see. Okay.
extraneous sound earlier.
Mhm.
Okay, so, she would have cleared her throat after Kamael finished sharing with after the ambassador walked away and said to Kamael, I see that we each have things about ourselves and our past which we have yet to share with everyone.
And the moment Saoirse kind of chimes in, Kamael straightens her back and looks and sees Saoirse there. And that I guess that the true face stays, and she just stares at Saoirse. And there's nothing there, not a smile, it's more distant, I suppose you could say. Kamael stands up, looks at Saoirse, walks towards her. I would appreciate it if you kept this between the both of us.
I had every intention of doing.
Of course. Like you said, there's some things in the past that, well, for you, will be shared. But for me, we shall see.
It would not be right for me, someone who longs to be free, to take that away from you in
No
sharing
one
your...
can take it away from me. The moment she says that, she catches herself. My apologies. I did have something to give you.
Oh?
Yes. May you sit?
What? Of course.
Yes. So Saoirse sits down.
Yep.
Okay, the moment she does, Camiel will take a few strands of her hair and begins to braid it. My apologies. I did not mean to sound cold. It was not my intention. I apologize.
Well, I could have done better in letting you know that I was behind you. So I apologize.
Maybe you were meant to hear it.
Maybe.
You don't have to apologize. Things happen for a reason. And as she is continuously braiding Saoirse's hair, she takes a feather and tucks it in there before securing the braid with the rest of the bundle of braids Saoirse has on the top of her head. There.
Oh, and if she's done with the braid, Saoirse would try and pull it to where she could see it. Thank you. This means a lot to me.
Hopefully, gives you a little more peace. Yes.
Well, I did find some of that last night in the clearing.
Camiel puts a hand on her shoulder. I'm glad.
Saoirse would reach up and kind of pat and rest her hand on Camiel's. Thank you for helping find. And she would take her.
Okay. Rest of the evening goes by. Anything else anybody really want to do before you rest again?
Bran, I just realized.
Yeah.
Bran, I just realized. What units did I put in my shopping list? I just realized I don't think it's applicable here.
Bran kind of just walks by Boltzmann and flips the piece of paper in the air. Handled it, Boltzmann.
Right. Thank you. Apologies. He just pick up the paper. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have caught the paper in midair. Just to pick it up from the ground. Go back to tinkering. That's just it for me.
You may or may not be receiving a keg.
So the rest of the evening goes by. You guys do your assorted task of tinkering and reading and writing and everything that you've done previous. Next morning, similar to the last day, you guys make it your way downstairs early when the light hits, waking you up. You make your way downstairs again to a breakfast that's served very similar than the day before. About an hour into the morning, into your meal, another guard, same guard as the day before, approaches the ambassador. Ambassador, Al-Ren says he has matters to deal with today in the mines. At the earliest, tomorrow. I will not wait. Excuse me? You heard me. I will not wait another moment. You either take me to Al-Ren now, or I leave this village immediately and watch from the beach as this volcano and all the surrounding area is swarmed with multiple squadrons of battle mages and other Udjatian forces. I am here on a fact-finding mission, nothing more. If he wishes to escalate with this child's game, I can do the same. The guard waits for a moment, somewhat dumbfounded by this response. I will have to ask. And he takes a step backwards and begins moving towards the door. I will ask with you. Let's go. Off with you. Amiel, please, with me. The rest are welcome as well. The messenger, followed by the ambassador, her escorts, Camiel, as well as the rest of the group goes, I assume.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yep, falling behind.
I missed this show.
The rest of her escorts, as well as all of you, head out of the inn, walk the small distance between the inn and the barracks. It's the largest building in the center of town, as you've seen previous day and your when you first came in. It's a 3-story building. Looks kind of like boxes stacked upon each other, all surrounded by fortified walls. The walls kind of reach up into some. It reaches much farther than the same footprint as the market. It goes deeper into the mountain itself, and seems to be connecting with some of the sharper cliff faces before reaching back around and coming back to the front. The messenger quickly walks past the guards that are standing out front without saying a word, and not fully understanding what's going on. They kind of look at him and then look at you, following him, the ambassador, directly on his tail, only a step behind. They kind of watch as you pass and go into it, and as you walk past, you can hear one of them says, I don't think Al-Ren's gonna like this. You walk into the center building, which is the 3-story building, with the ambassador directly on the heels of the messenger, who is moving very quickly, unknowing what else to do. There is a center staircase that has double doors at the top of the hallway, with a few doors on either side, branching off into hallways down the side. The confused messenger knocks on the door, and then quickly slithers in and opening the door just enough to let his kind of slight frame kind of get in, and shuts it quickly behind him. Make a perception check, everyone.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Scared.
There we go. That's what I'm used to.
Ugh. Yikes.
Uh-oh.
Saoirse gets a 17 as the top. All of you get around that. Not too bad. So Saoirse, you do see quite a few soldiers. Quite a few of the knights making their way around. Wherever you see people moving, once they see you within the building, they do kind of stop and look and try to figure out what's going on. From the other side of the door, Dante, you hear very loud screaming in Draconic, cursing and blasting. The rest of you hear screams and echoes of grunting and very guttural noises. At one point, you feel think you may hear something catching fire or something to that effect.
Wonderful.
Can Sorry, can Dante understand what the hell's going on in there?
Dante does speak Draconic, so he does know that he does hear screaming and swearing. He may not know the pure definition of everything that's going on, because it seems to be this guttural reaction that's being had on the other side of the wall. But with context clues, you can tell that whatever's happening, somebody is not a happy camper.
Uh-oh.
I'll happily relay that quietly to the others. So, yep. I think we've stirred the hornet's nest.
I'd want to say Fangs out, but this isn't the place for that.
A soldier from down the hall sees you guys standing and starts walking towards you. But the door opens with a very frightened messenger that you saw previously standing on the other side. Al-Ren will see you now. Please enter. The door opens. You are ushered into a large open room. In one corner you see a seating area with multiple couches, a few chairs. Middle of the room is a very large table, built to the proportions of a very large figure sitting behind it. Behind the table is Al-Ren.
There's a big boy.
That is a big boy.
I'd almost say it looks like a Balrog. Gods.
Eh,
What a lovely grin you have.
You see Al-Ren, similar to Whis in some aspects, both looking reptilian. But Al-Ren has far less human characteristics and a much more primitive jawline, much more primitive facial features. Scales that are a very deep red that almost have a slight shine to it as he stands. He stands up, his wings just kind of express themselves as wide as they can go, flailing out at least 10 to 12 feet from tip to tip. Larger than the rest of his body. The bone tips that you see on the ends of the bone of the wing structures all have been plated in this gold that kind of shimmers even more than the red. Unlike any of the guards, he has a full armor covering his torso. Behind him, hanging on the wall, he has one large golden scimitar that reaches almost 10 feet, with a red jewel in its hilt and in the guard. Everybody roll a perception check. Another
so we're
one.
gonna do initiative.
23.
Wow!
Nice roll.
Nice!
Hey,
Brand.
there's a shiny sword.
Did you see that gold? Look at the gold.
It's curved swords.
Curved swords.
Lots of money there.
Okay. Dante. The one thing that seems, nothing about this seems natural. It seems like anything that you've seen. You do notice that he's wearing a almost like goggle / monocle over one eye that seems to be different. His other eye is bright red and kind of shiny, but in a different way. You can see the outlines of the details of the eye, where the other one seems to be different. It seems to be something in place of where his eye is, or something over top of his eye.
Okay. I can't necessarily just turn around and go, look at his eye!
Yes.
It's so weird.
The ambassador steps forward. Greetings, Al-Ren, son of Multaq. Many thanks are given to you this day for your hospitality and your generosity of time to meet with us. On behalf of the Ra and of the Council of Hika, I greet you in the name of Ilithana, and humbly come to you today seeking a discourse, and
you can dispense with the pleasantries and holier-than-thou bullshit. Why do you pollute your town with my Udjatian stink?
My apologies, Al-Ren. My mission today is twofold. Firstly, to let you know that it has come to the Council of Hika's attention that conditions of these mines are
my mines? The conditions of my mines are my problem. So what is Udjat gonna do about it? You wanna hear it directly from me? I have 500 plus people working in the mines, 18-hour shifts. They've been bad little boys and girls, and they've tried to hide what they were taking from my mountain. So they have not been free to leave. Until I am satisfied with what they've collected and tributed to me.
According to the people of the village, it has been years. How much more will you take to be satisfied? And at the cost of how many lives?
That is the question, isn't it? You know what? I'm not quite sure. But when I do, when I figure it out, I'll let you know. Now, is there anything else that you need before I kick you off of this mountain?
At the risk of sounding rude, has something happened to Multaq? You visibly see Al-Ren shift at the mention of this question. This loud and proud, standing tall, worry-free warrior has not moved or shifted at all until the mention of Multaq. Al-Ren shifts at the mention of this question, and the ambassador notices and revises her verbiage. My pardon. I have a token that I was instructed firsthand by the Ra to give directly to the magnificent dragon himself. You've referred to this town, mines, and mountain as your own. I just want to be clear who the leadership is and who I should be dealing with. Al-Ren stops for a moment. You see his head shift slightly.
My father is fine. He enjoys his solitude. Give the gift to me and I will make sure that he receives it. And as for leadership, I assure you that his voice and mine are the same. Whatever comes from my mouth, you would be sure to be able to hear from his as well.
I would love to present it to you. It would make my day much more enjoyable than having to deal with offending someone of your power and daunting abilities. But by decree of the Ra and the Council, I am not able to. I am only able to present this to Multaq himself. If I could present it to him today, I will conclude my report and return to Al-Sir. There's a long pause as Al-Ren begins playing with two pieces of jade that he has made into almost perfectly round balls. He continues to roll them as in his hands as he stares at your party, each individual one by one. And then of the party of the ambassador. The jade, when being moved, creates a very faint tone, a single held note, as long as the jade is moving within his hands. Suddenly the tone stops.
It's been forever since Father has had gifts presented to him. I hope it lives up to his anticipation. I'd hate to tell Udjat that their fancy dignitary burned alive for presenting a substandard gift. Fine. To Father.
Al-Ren stands to his feet and moves to a door at the side of his chamber. Two of his guards that were in the room behind you begin to follow, and he waves them off before motioning to your group to follow. You guys follow?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask
With
if it's all right.
trepidation.
I'm sorry, say it again, Brad.
No, I was actually going to say if it was all right if Bran could make an insight check on when he was saying his father was very much alive.
Yeah, so you're trying to find out if he's lying about his father?
Yeah.
Roll
Yeah.
an insight.
Come on.
You can do it, Bran.
Come on. Poker is not working. God damn it. Look at that, a 5.
Get an 8 for insight.
Ugh.
Damn.
Yeah, it's hard to read. Not seeing human face, not seeing someone that is perhaps in touch with their emotional anything. It's very hard to read this individual.
I can read humans, I can read elves and dwarves, but dragons are another thing.
You guys follow Al-Ren as he leads you out of the building and away from the area that you came from. About 150 feet from the main building is a small rectangular building, hidden, kind of hidden below what seems to be a crest, so top of a hill crest, and then kind of burrows down a little bit into the earth. So 3 sides of this building are surrounding the earth behind it. Its back wall is kind of flush against this rugged cliff face that's been made there. The building no larger than a small shed or even an outhouse. There's no windows, no doors. Al-Ren stands at the front face of this building, takes one of the jade balls in his hand between 2 fingers, holds it up to the building, and after a moment you hear a slight tremble, shake, as the entryway now becomes clear. The bricks have shifted to the side and an entryway is shown. He walks in and you follow. Assumably, you follow.
Yes.
The ambassador, close to Al-Ren as possible. Her escort's behind, and then you follow. As soon as you walk in, the heat hits you, and the smell hits you. This deep sulfur, this deep burning. Everything in this place seems to be burning, and you get this organic and metallic and burning sensation all at once as it kind of hits you smack in the face. You've grown accustomed to the village, and kind of it's been reduced somewhat from your normal being able to pick everything up, just walking down the village compared to the first time that you were there. But this encompasses you, so all of the surrounding area is just kind of sulfur and burnt earth. It takes a moment to catch your breath. Everybody roll a con save for me, please.
Oh, Lord.
Here we go.
No!
Con save or a con check?
Con save.
Yeah, +2.
I'll take a nat 20 with that.
Sure.
Plus, does everybody get it +2?
Yes.
Hells yeah.
I'm thinking everyone is close enough, so...
Yeah.
6 anyway.
Oh no, Bran!
Oh, Bran!
Well done, buddy. You're doing great.
Well, everyone else here has a 2, a 5, a 2, and a 5. I got a 1.
Yeah, man. Dante works out. What are you talking about?
So Dante and Saoirse, you continue. You take a moment, kind of shake it off. Take a breath, a controlled breath, not a deep breath, but a controlled breath, and kind of build your tolerance slowly for a moment. And you're able to continue without incident. Boltzmann and Camiel, The same, pretty much. You struggle for a moment. You take a breath, and it does kind of hit you in the back of the lungs and kind of stings for a moment. Branimir, you take.
Bran is dead.
Bran,
18d10.
Bran is good, but he also is hurting now because his lungs are on fire. You begin to.
Really on fire?
No, not literally.
Just burning. Oh my
They're
god.
burning from sulfur. Actually, that's a good idea. Yes, your lungs are literally on fire now.
You thought your
Don't
voice
give-
was bad last time.
Don't give him ideas. Come on.
And Bran spontaneously
Will
combusted.
you hear me now?
Boltzmann would, if anything, he would keep a close eye on Bran. He would be keeping a close eye on Bran since he would know that upon the first feeling of heat, he would immediately look towards Bran since he knows that Bran in his armor is gonna cook like a
Bran is wheezing at this point. He's gonna inhaling deeply and exhaling.
Yeah, Boltzmann would hang back and try to help out Tin Man Bran.
Good.
You take 4 points of, I would say it's poison damage because of the sulfur content that you've taken a big gulp of air and kind of gotten it into your lungs. You begin coughing and almost choking at this air. It takes a minute. You're able to take a sip from your canteen and slowly move forward, but you do take 4 points of damage.
I would.
Alright.
I would suggest to Bran that if it would help, you could try wrapping a wet cloth around your mouth. Just in case, Bran, something, if it might help. There's
Bran
this
will
look of
cough.
genuine concern from Boltzmann.
Yeah. Bran will cough and his eyes are watering, but he kind of he nods in the direction of Boltzmann as he kind of takes a handkerchief from his plate armor and he douses a bit of it in his canteen's water and wraps it around his mouth.
From the beginning or the front of this line, walking down this cut corridor, you hear a as the dragon laughs at your coughing.
Bitch.
Man, Camille just she's keeping her lips shut. Keeping it shut.
You begin walking down the single path cavern, and you can tell that this is kind of man-made. This portion has been cut out. The walls are smoother than naturally formed passages. It seems to be straighter in most ways, and it seems to be deliberately cut in this location at this point. It seems to be constantly large enough to fit the bulky frame of Al-Ren with no issue. You look at the fairly steep incline upward, and you know that this had to be of something that was created for this specific purpose of being a path towards the layer of Multaq. 5 minutes pass, 10 minutes pass, about 20 minutes pass, and you get to this point where your pathway opens up in a large cavern. Your path becomes a bridge crossing over this huge cavern below. Everybody roll me another perception check.
I thought you were going to say con then.
Oh lord, I had a heart attack.
Oh, goodness.
No, a
Oakley.
check would check whether you fall off, but that's not what I'm doing yet.
What
Please.
the? Oh well.
24, 26. That was an 8. So Saoirse and Dante and Boltzmann, you definitely would kind of peer over the edge. And Branimir, you would notice first the sounds of hammering, metal pinging off of rocks and other metals. As you and the group look down, you see a group of about 15 to 20 people working by torchlight some men, some women, all breaking rocks in the sweltering heat and the toxic smell.
Do we see any children, or is it just adult?
Dante and Saoirse, you see a woman with a child next to her, no more than 4 or 5 years old. The child is moving a pail of rocks, dragging them to a different pile.
Oh god.
Socks, Cameo can see.
Anyone who is standing behind Saoirse would see her fist clench.
Overseeing all this is... Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Bran can only hear this. He can't see it, correct?
Yeah, you would hear the hammering. Everyone else would hear it and then be able to kind of peer over. You were too cautious to get over close enough to get an angle to be able to see this.
I see. Okay, so Bran's eyes are watering, so he can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
But he would be in the same boat as you, Saoirse.
Cameo's she's too focused on the ambassador right now and the dragon himself.
Boltzmann, since although he would see what is going on, he wouldn't see the child labor going on, but he would.
Yeah, you would.
Oh, I would.
Okay.
I noticed.
You
Oh,
see it?
and with that, I could also notice, I guess, Saoirse trying this anger boiling up in her. Boltzmann would put a hand on her shoulder, give her a look, as if saying, "Not now," and hopefully, trying keeping Saoirse from doing anything rash, because this here is not the best place for that. Think of a different plan some other time.
Yeah, she would. You would see that her jaw is clenched, and she's kind of grinding, almost like she's about to be grinding her teeth. Slowly close her eyes, and then just nod. You can still see that there's some tension. And she would reach up to her braid, pull it over her shoulder, and then start and just hold on to something
No.
in her braid.
Yeah, 'cause as you would look towards Boltzmann, you would also see that he's clenching his jaw. He's also trying to contain this sort of anger inside of him. But he just nods at your gestures, and he goes back towards keeping an eye out on Bran.
Overseeing all of the people below, you see two men very similar to those you saw in the barracks. Shabby armor, although this armor does seem a little bit more put together. Not so shabby, as in the pieces aren't great, but they're kind of matching and a little bit more of it. They have red face paint over their face, and you can tell from the distance it's hard to make out. But with your 26 Dante and 24 Saoirse, you would definitely see Multaq emblems emblazoned on their skin. One man is very thick with a large axe strapped to his back. Another is smaller with a whip in hand, twirling in it.
Are there any ways down from here? Or just is this just a direct path that we're following, or are there like branches off of it?
There's no branches off of this path. It looks like this path is completely independent than all of the others, and it just kind of happens to be the best way to have used the area, I think. If you intended to jump down, it would probably be about a 30 to 40 foot drop onto a slower platform, and then probably another what did I say it was? I didn't. Probably about a 20 to 30 foot drop to a certain area, and then another 20 to 30 foot drop to the area where you see them currently working.
He just trying to take note of entries and exits or pathways. Dante's reaction isn't the same as everybody else, obviously, but he does stare, like start a moment just staring down before he keeps moving. And he doesn't have the same reaction as Boltzmann or Sersha.
As you keep moving forward, you enter another long shaft of a passage. You walk for another 10 minutes or so, and the heat becomes even more sweltering. I would say Bran and Camiel, you are beginning to get tired.
Okay.
You are not tired yet, but if you do not adjust, if the heat increases or if you march for too long, then you would be exhausted.
Dorime. Okay.
Okay.
For the sake of the rest of the group, especially tension being as high as it is, I think Brand is going to opt to keep on his armor at the risk of exhaustion.
Yeah, Camille will have to do the same.
You walk for another 10 minutes or so. You see beads of sweat, Camille, begin to gather on Salam's face for the first time. She grabs a small piece of fabric from under her sleeve and pats their forehead. Finally, the path opens up, and in front of you is a very large cavern. There is a ledge that the group and Al-Ren are standing on. In front of the ledge is a very large metal disc chained with huge chain links to each corner of this very large cavern. The metal disc is glowing orange in the center, as it is about 30 feet from the bubbling liquid fire and melted rock below. The lava, you can look down and you are instantly hit with this wave of heat and the sulfur smell that if only because you've adjusted to this point do you not instantly just have any kind of damage or something of the sort. It's extremely hot, and the longer that you stay in here, you continue to get hot with the possibility of different things happening.
Different things happening?
Yes. Al-Ren adjusts a lever, and a red bolt of energy shoots across from the ledge from where you're standing to the disc across. He stomps over near the ambassador, looming over her, before taking a step onto the light bridge, which is now supporting his bulky frame. Everybody roll a perception check again.
Stop, I'm already dead.
Always the rules of 3, isn't it?
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
8.
Okay.
You got the best one, Brandon.
How the tables have turned.
How the turns have tabled. Boltzmann's too
Sears is
busy watching
distracted.
over. Boltzmann's
Sears is
busy
trying to keep herself calm.
A big bolt of energy just shot out from somewhere.
Ran.
Wow, pretty lights.
Branimir.
Hey!
As Al-Ren adjusts his gem-colored glass in his eye, he says,
Father, come forth.
Out of the lava, the odor of sulfur and pumice surrounding the red dragon, whose swept-back horns and spine is lined with razor-sharp scales. As it breaks out of the lava, its beaked snout vents in fierce plumes of white smoke. It flies into the open cavern that goes up about 60 to 70 feet before slowly narrowing. It swoops to the top of this this open cavern. At the top, you can see a small peak of daylight is seen through the very, very top that goes up another 100, 200, 300 feet above. It swoops down quickly and plants itself on a large disc hanging over the lava below. The ambassador is taken aback by this large giant of a dragon now sitting in front of her, 20 feet across, 20 feet tall. Greetings, O great Multaq. It is my divine privilege to be able to address today on behalf of the Ra, High Cleric of Udjat, and the Council of... The dragon raises its head mid-sentence, and a cone of fire shoots directly over the head of the ambassador, hitting the wall, purposely missing.
Silence! What have you interrupted my solace?
A tribute and a request.
Continue.
Thank you. The tribute is a gift directly from the Ra himself. A favorite item from his vast treasury. The gold of this dragon statue is said to have been made from gold from this very mountain. The likeness made in your father's image, the great Mantrix. And out of a small bag that she has, she pulls a golden statue of a dragon with jade eyes, probably about 5 feet long by about a foot and a half wide, or probably about 6 inches wide and about 3 feet long, and pulls it from a small bag of holding that she has tucked away underneath her robes. Pulls out this very large golden dragon and places it down in front of where Al-Ren is now stepping on this red energy beam. Places it before Al-Ren, who is now sitting at the edge of this large disc, which is glowing red from the heat of the fire below.
The tribute is accepted. The request denied.
And with that, we will end this evening's session.
No!
Oh.
No!
By the gods.
Nice.
It's only 12:30. What the hell?
Yeah.
It probably means that, oh no.
Yep.
Oh,
No.
by the gods.
Yup.
I
Yeah.
I
gotta
can go
get
3 more hours. What about you guys?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna go stream straight after this. What are you talking about? I can go well on until 7 or 8 a.m.
my.
Oh my god.
I don't have to work till 2:30.
So, guys, what'd you think?
I posted my reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Impressive.
I
Most impressive.
Yeah.
So for a wrap up tonight, I'm going to ask a few questions, just like we did last time. It seemed to work out well. Normally we sit and chat, but we're going to ask questions, kind of formalize it. Saoirse, I asked you a different question last week. What's the best moment of the night for you this evening?
Oh. That's. Is it cool if I give you a top 3?
Yeah, go for it.
And I will end with the best. So, Here, I'm going to move closer to my mic because I think I finally have it adjusted to account for background noise here. And I don't have a cat meowing at me now. Let's see. Definitely number 3. I love the coconut banter right at the beginning. I thought that was great. Great.
Number 3.
Great how we started. Yeah.
Coconut.
Out of 3, yes.
Coconut Barons?
I love the. Yeah.
DnD.
I am torn. I'm torn between my top 2. And I will selfish plug this. I'm torn between the 2 instances of Saoirse and Camiel.
Mhm.
But I have to put number 2 for me was earlier in the stream when they were walking. But I loved that short little scene with Camiel tying her feather, braiding the feather into Saoirse's hair. Because that did give her something. That is what she grabbed. I'm sure everyone who knew that, you knew what she was grabbing onto.
Yeah.
As they were walking when Boltzmann told her, "Hey, not here, not now." So that would be my number 1.
Let's ask that again. What about Camiel? You were a bunch of highlights there. What do you think your best moments were? Or what do you think the best moment of the night for the Graham is?
Well, okay. No, first and foremost, I wish that everyone had a moment. I felt like everyone was holding back tonight for some reason. But okay. Jesus, a lot happened. Okay, top 3. I suppose top 3 for me would be, the third one would be the coconut banter. I'm sorry, it just has its place.
Hey.
It has its place. It's very nice and lighthearted. You actually, like Camiel said, you actually get to see Branimir and Boltzmann being silly for the first time in a very, 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 very long time.
Because this is important.
What do you mean silly? We're talking business.
We're taking armor. We're taking armor by storm.
Yes. Finally, we will be able to unseat that platinum woman from her.
Yeah, you think it's funny
Go.
now, but this is a long, elaborate plan to unseat
We will,
Erica.
we will fund armies just with coconut.
Exactly.
We're taking over
They
this
should
island.
be called the Coconut Wars.
The Coconut Republic.
Erica, I'd like to buy that warhammer off of you. Bran arrives with like 3 armadas of ships carrying coconuts.
Erica, what will you do for a coconut?
Oh, we will give you a whole ship of coconuts. Number 2, again, there were 2 moments with Saoirse that I believe were solid. They were good. And though the walk was, it was a lot more tender.
Remember?
No, don't you? No, shut up. It was a lot more tender. I think because I never realized Saoirse was there. She wasn't supposed to be there, but oh well, cat's out of the bag. I think just that moment where I can't say her true self yet, because I think there's a lot more to Camiel. But a bit of herself leaked out due to Camiel being very comfortable being Udjat and being with the ambassador and knowing that she was once a paladin. A bit of herself kind of leaked out, and Saoirse having to see that, I think that to me would be top 2. And I suppose top 1 would be the fucking dragon. Cause I'm not gonna lie, I was sweating bullets And I feel like my heart just dropped out of my asshole. So that was the highlight for me. So yeah.
I honestly thought that Multaq would breathe fire onto the diplomat. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my god.
That scene from
There's still a
what was
chance
that,
for
Terminator?
that. There's still a chance for that.
Yeah. Yes.
First roll of the night next week. Everyone, roll initiative.
No.
No.
Shield of the faithful.
Roll a reflex. Roll a reflex save.
Reflex save. Oh god, no.
No.
Shield of the faithful.
Yeah, I agree with that, Camiel. Seeing her kind of let her guard down was good, and seeing her do it in different ways. You being the support system for Saoirse, and seeing her kind of able to get some support on her own, or at least feel a support system of some kind in place. One that may be at least temporary in this situation, but at least it was something where she could let her guard down and kind of let her feelings be truly known a little bit. So I think that was really good too.
Thank you.
Bran, what did you find out this week that you didn't know about?
I didn't know that the Al-Ren had such a long sword.
Oh.
I'm
Bren, that doesn't sound right.
not gonna lie.
On a long sword there?
Are you feeling ashamed?
Not gonna lie. I'm a little intimidated. 10 feet
Some
is.
weapon
Did you
some
sort of
weapon envy, I
shrivel up a little bit at the side of it?
Well, I mean, my lung shriveled up. That's about it.
Just remember, Bran. It's not the size of the weapon that counts. It's
The performance.
how you use it.
Mhm.
I know. I make up for it with my Warhammer's girth.
You just keep smacking away with that warhammer until something happens.
Performance issues.
Oh my
right?
god.
He may have length, but I don't think he can penetrate, if you get my meaning.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
All right. Let's stop
That's
it there, bro.
disgusting, Bran. Why would you say something like that? That's just disgusting.
My armor, my AC, 22.
Next question
It's
I
not a
have,
stabbing weapon.
let's say for Ryan, for Dante.
So,
I have the question written, what thing gives you the most anxiety about next week? But I think it's kind of like kind of obvious. Unless you have a different answer beside the big freaking dragon in front
well,
of you.
yeah, that'd be the obvious one. See, I've done something where I've painted Dante into a bit of a wall, where I'm not gonna reveal his actual feelings outside of the actual game. So, yeah, the dragon itself is a big anxiety at the moment.
So give me the best moments of the night for you, if since anxiety is kind of like defaulted to this big freaking creature in front of you.
It would be the same, basically as everybody else. I love the coconut bit, and I love what Saoirse and Emil were doing. So
Okay.
that was sort of like the big highlights of the night.
Boltzmann, anything else that you want to add? Any of those questions?
I am quite sad that there are no cocos and cocoa nuts.
Didn't have
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But honestly, Boltzmann,
At one point or another.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said that's a feeling we all get at one point or another.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But anyways, for this session, Boltzmann was more of a taking the back seat, just tinkering with his own tools, and
So how that
If-
feels?
uh-huh.
What?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
What?
sure.
No, what?
If anything,
I thought
I'm
I was
just
on mute.
quite-
Sorry.
yeah, absolutely.
Bullshit.
Cha-cha, real smooth, Dante. Anyways, personally, I'm just quite happy that his nights are no longer being disturbed by a dark passenger in his brain,
Mhm.
and that's the good part. And if anything, I'm just quite happy that there are some times where I could properly show tidbits, more and more tidbits that, hey, I'm looking out for my other teammates here, and all that as somewhat the loner sort of guy, the asocial sort of guy that Boltzmann is. There's some times where I'm just quite happy that there's these moments where I can goof off with Bran, with a coconut bit, B&B Coconut Enterprises. That's what we will name Bran.
That's a great thing about D&D is those little wacky things.
Yeah,
in with all these dramatic pieces as well. It just kind of mimics life in certain ways, and it also just it's just fun to kind of recreate and kind of play with. For everybody here, I mean, everybody at the table, I do try to. There are times where I will highlight certain people. So like tonight, because we're in Udjat, we're definitely focusing on Camille's arc a little bit more than anything else, and kind of giving her the reins to kind of develop her stuff. But in the same way we've done with Boltzmann in the past and Branimir before that, and so even though you may have seemed to be a smaller character today, don't think it's purposeful or it's not. It is purposeful, but it's not. Everybody gets their own chance to shine, and so hopefully everybody gets that and understands that. And I'm glad that I think you kind of understand that and get that there's good days to be in the background and good days to be in the front. So
I don't think any of us. I wouldn't think any of us consider like we're just enjoying playing. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's what I like about this group.
But I will say one thing though, because I do love each and every one of the characters, is that I would like to encourage that I just don't want anyone to be backseat. That's all. Because I don't know. I don't know what to think as of yet. At the moment, I know what Camille feels. I know her as a character, since she is not just a D&D character to me. She has always been like a original character of mine that I have created. So I know exactly how she feels. But I am more interested in what everyone else can offer. I know that tonight, Boltzmann and Dante, I think they were in their own little head. So yes, they were quiet, but I think something else is going on there. I know Boltzmann is, hard at work as always. He's a workaholic. Yeah, and Dante is just he's a mystery. So, yeah.
Wrapped in enigma.
So I didn't want to tell you, I fell asleep there for a little bit. It's,
oh my god!
Yeah,
Wow!
Well, there's your enigma, guys.
Tell us how you really feel.
How could I really sleep through that? You tell me.
Oh,
I literally had voices in my head most of that night. Thank you. I was listening to everyone in delay, making sure that everyone sounded as best as I could get it. So it was like we were saying at the start of the game. The voices in my head were talking to me and repeating themselves over and over again.
And that's why I thanked you in the beginning, and I'll thank you here at the end. Thank you for all the production stuff.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that we don't have, me personally, I'm glad that we don't have a Dante heavy arc right now, so that you can kind of focus on that. Get it just tuned in, so that in a couple of weeks when we go into a Dante arc, then it'll be all on autopilot, and you don't have to deal with it quite so much. So I appreciate you and everything you do.
I'm just
I
happy to be
appreciate
here,
all of
man.
you at the table. Just like I appreciate all of the follows, all of the likes that we got today, everyone that has liked our stuff enough to sit here and watch us play around for the past now 4 hours. I again thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, everyone here at Black Dragon Roleplay. I appreciate you. We appreciate you, and we will see you again next week. We'll try to play again. Try to do a group games. Probably on Sunday again. We'll figure out the details and post on Twitter and everything.
Yep.
We got some new options for that. So it was.
Oh my god!
You can
push the
hopefully
button.
you guys can join us.
One more push the button.
Yeah. It was fun. All right, everybody. Everybody have a good day. Everybody have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Night, everybody.
No,
See
see
you
you
all next time.
tomorrow for the game.
Oh,
hey.
Oh yeah, we'll see you Sunday.